That's no good. We're gonna make sure that stays up. Okay, hopefully that stays up. It's not gonna stay. Oh, Jesus. Alright, how about that? How about them apples? Alright. So I want to give a status update on ADHD Aquatics. This is gonna be one for the history books, boys. Basically, I'm getting out of the military, you guys. Yep, I am. I'm getting out of the Air Force. I have served 11 years in the Air Force as an aircraft mechanic for F-16s for 4-ish years, and then was switched over to F-35s, avionics technician. I've been to Texas, Mississippi, where else? Florida, California, Alaska, Korea, South Korea, and Utah. That's where I live now, is Utah. I've been in Utah since 2015. And at the time of recording this video, it is 2024. I am getting out of the military March 2024. And this was an unexpected change for me. I was planning on doing 20 years, but some things came up and I was unable to re-enlist due to the rules and regulations and my situation. So I have been scrambling the last couple months to figure out what I'm going to do with my life, and there are lots of resources out there for veterans or soon to be veterans. My last day is in March. So I've been learning all about entrepreneurship and making business connections and really focusing on my business and my husband's business. And I'm starting to get really serious about my fish store again. I don't know how well I'll do with the content. I'm mostly focusing on like my local market. It's really hard to put together a good YouTube video with good editing. I need to start putting stuff like that out. This has always been more of like a fun hobby passion project as far as the YouTube goes. I've never put a lot of editing into it, but I might start doing that, especially like beginner friendly videos, because I get a lot of customers to my fish store that have questions about how to do certain things. It's like very common questions, so I can explain it to them in person and then say, look, I'll send you a video, like just in case you get home and you forget what I said, this will explain it for you. So I can do that. I'm probably gonna start doing that. But I designed all new signs for my store. I hung up signs. I got a little doorbell for my store. I got a business license. Before I was just operating as an LLC with no business license, because in Utah you don't need a business license to operate a home business like the one that I'm doing. And my property is a mixed zone. It's commercial and residential zone. So my property is a little bit special, but a lot of vendors require for you to have a business license before they will mark you as a distributor. So I got my business license, no big deal. And I'm starting to make connections with wholesale suppliers and starting to order more and more fish. This last order that I did, I ordered in a couple of species of fish and they sold out like right away. So things are getting a little bit more serious. I'm having like more and more customers each day. Obviously tracking all my sales and everything like that, and doing my sales tax and starting to really do it as more than just a hobby. Oh shit. Sorry. Hold on. This way. Hey Garcia, I'm driving so I can't really see the chat very well. Let me drink this. Okay, so let's talk about some more new things that are going on at ADHD Aquatics. For one, I came up with a plan. By 2026, I will have a real store a real like brick and mortar store. I will be renting out or own a commercial property. And of course, Zach will be plumbing and building the new fish room at the fish store. And that store is not going to be just for fish. It's going to be rabbits and cats and dogs and lizards and gerbils and ferrets and all that. So we'll have all the supplies, all the food and everything. That's my goal. By the end of 2026, be moved out of the basement. Some things that I'm doing in the basement now are, I have an intern. She comes on Saturdays and Tuesdays and helps clean up the tanks. And I'm teaching her everything I know, which is not much, but it is more than a beginner. Then everyone knows I already have t-shirts and mugs, but I'm gonna get some made and sent to ADHD Aquatics and have them displayed in the shop so that my customers can see them and they can order them if they like them. I am launching my own food. So I just ordered the food wholesale, and I gotta order the stuff to repackage the food. And of course there will be ingredients lists and everything like that. It's gonna be a flake food. It's a staple flake food. It has a little bit higher of a protein content than other foods. 47% protein and then 10% fat. I'll have to look at the other percentages, but that's going to be in the works, and I expect that I will have the food listed for sale. I'll say give me 14 days, because I have to order the packaging materials on Amazon. That'll take a couple days to get here, and you guys know how I am with the project. I'll probably stay up all night and repackage everything in one night, and then it'll be available. So I'll say give me 2 weeks on that, and then there'll be some new food up on the shop. And of course, there's going to be like the first certain amount of customers is going to be like beta testers for the food, so it'll be like very, very discounted. You'll basically just be paying like the shipping and like the cost of like the bottle and stuff, just to test out the food to see like if your fish will eat it. But the food I got is from a reputable company, and they said they haven't had any problems and their fish love it. So, and they are a very, very well-known company. If I said the name, I would give away all my trade secrets. But it's a name that's mentioned a lot on FishTube. So you guys will be good with the food. It'll be good. It'll be good. So I'm excited to announce that. Also, ADHD Aquatics now accepts goldbacks, which is a type of legal tender recognized in Utah on the state level. It's recognized in Wisconsin, I think North Dakota, there's a couple other states. I don't have one with me, but it's basically, it looks like a dollar bill. The art is obviously different, but it is 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold. Like the actual dollar bill, the actual gold back looks like gold. It's gold. I'll show you guys later. But so we accept gold backs. We're launching food. We're going to start selling merch in the store. The betta rack is getting finished. Zach just ordered all of the heating stuff that he needs to heat the betta fish rack. That's why it has not had betta fish in it. We had crawfish in it for a while because it was cold, and the crawfish can do the cold. I think it was like 64 degrees. Don't shoot me in the comments. Yeah, so Zach bought, it's like this heat tape. It goes under the tanks. The lizard people use it to heat up the lizard tanks for like snakes and frogs and stuff. So he's gonna add that. I think it's gonna be something like 700 watts of heating. It's gonna be still kind of expensive to heat. I'll try to keep the temperature as low as I can, but with betta fish, you know, you got to keep it at a certain temperature or else they don't act right. They get sick and die. So you gotta, I mean, you can go kind of low with them, but like really nothing under 78 degrees. I'm sure everyone will have a different opinion about that in the comments, but that's fine. I'm kind of comfortable with keeping them like at 75, but I really don't want to see them going below that, to be honest, because then they don't swim around as much, and the customers aren't going to really like them because they're just going to be sitting there, and Yeah, but each betta rack container has 1.8 gallons, and it's like a short horizontal type of footprint for them, so they'll do good with that. What's next? Wayne, he puts his betta fish in my fish room now, and I sell them. So he imports them from Thailand and Indonesia. I forget. I think he said Thailand. So he imports them from Thailand. I'm turning the heat on. I'm getting kind of cold because I took off my Air Force blouse, so it didn't have my name on it. But he quarantines them, and he's been peddling them in the local community, selling them, I guess, on the Band app. I don't really see him on KSL a lot. KSL is like Craigslist for Utah. So he's been doing okay with that. I think he gets a couple customers here and there, but he still has a lot of betta fish like at his house, and they're beautiful betta fish. People love them. So I said, look, why don't you put these, let me take these fish, I'm gonna put them in my fish room because I get a lot of foot traffic now, and when people come in, they'll buy them, and then I'll just send you the money. So that's what we do. He gave me 5. I sold one like an hour later. Some customer came in and got one, and then she killed it by accident. Rest in peace to that boy. It's her first fish tank. I tried to help her as much as I can, but I didn't ask her what type of filter she had. She had like a regular hang-on-back filter, and the betta fish with the long fins got sucked up and shredded to bits. Rest in peace to that boy. So she came back the next day and bought a new one. I told her, normally like I would replace it, but it's not my fish. Like I can't afford to replace it. I don't know. I've killed a lot of fish, and in the circumstances where I killed a fish, I don't ask the store for a replacement. But if the fish dies because it's sick and weak, then then you get a replacement. But I felt kind of bad. Like I felt like I should have refunded her, but I mean, she killed it. I mean, it's kind of my fault, I guess, because I didn't tell her. But some people would argue, like, no, it's not your fault because she should have done, like, a lot of research before she got the betta fish. And, yeah, I've been keeping fish for so long, I didn't even think twice about the type of filter. I just assumed that she had a good filter. So the next day when she came back, I gave her a sponge filter because I sell them brand new. I just sell them for $5. I gave her some airline. I told her, like, you need to get an air pump for this, and then this replaces the filter that you got now. Told her all about it, and then she texts me and she's like, the betta fish that I got from you today has Popeye, and I'm gonna treat him with Epsom salt. I'm like, hold up, stop. I'm like, send me pictures, let me see the fish. And the one eye is like really, really popped out, like an injury, not like a bacterial. And I was like, well, he wasn't like that when I gave him to you like 2 hours ago, so he must have got injured. And come to find out, she had them hard plastic plants in the tank, and I was like, take them out. You gotta have the soft silk plants. You can't have them hard plants with the long fin betta fishes. They can't swim so good, they're gonna get hurt. And I told her, keep the water clean, do bigger water changes, and that'll help it to heal up without getting an infection. So yeah, anyway, Wayne's Corner, that's what we call it. He gave me 5 betta fishes and I sold 2 of them. Unfortunately, one of them got the rest in peace stone, but yeah, that's just what happens when you run in a fish store, when you're dealing with live animals. So let's see, I am looking for a wholesaler for plants. I have a wholesaler for fish. He doesn't do everything though, so I'm still accepting wholesaler lists for fish. I have someone for guppies, I got someone for shrimp, I got someone for plecos, I got someone for killifish, I got someone for corydoras. I have to check the cichlids. I got someone for angelfish. I need a supplier for cichlids. I think the guy that I use for shrimp does cichlids too. I'll have to ask him. Because he just sent me a picture of this big cichlid, and I'm like, what the heck is that? Like a Midas cichlid or something, I don't know. Big one. And then I'm looking for a supplier for plants. And my guy in International, he does plants, but the transshipper that we use isn't licensed to bring the plants in. So I'm looking for, I guess, someone in the United States that can do the plants, or someone overseas that has a guy that can do the plants. I'm not sure. I'm open to anything for that. So SF, what's up? Hey, you guys. You're the only one here. I've been going for 15 minutes and no one showed up. So I don't know if I got taken out the fish fam or what. If they took me off the Discord or what. I'll have to check to see if the notification went to the Discord that I went live. I haven't logged into Discord in a while. But yeah, I've been kind of out of the loop because I've been focusing on so much stuff. So I feel kind of bad for that, because I know the fish fam is like, you gotta kind of stay updated and talk with everybody, but I've been on my own, dancing to my own beat of my own drum over here for a little bit, so kind of got disconnected. That's okay. And then I wanted to talk about something that happened without being like too dramatic or getting into it too much. So I'm trying to look for a new supplier, and a friend of mine, he referred me to a company that does wholesale. And this friend of mine does not have a very good reputation amongst the aquatic community. But I had never been betrayed by him, and I trusted him enough to like associate with him and still talk with him and stuff. But there was a lot of bad screenshots and rumors about his previous business dealings with wholesalers in the past, that like he had scammed them and like ordered a bunch of fish and then said a bunch of them were dead, or like returned the payment on PayPal or something. Basically, and like the suppliers lost like thousands of dollars because of like what he did or something. So I mean, I'm not a supplier, so I was like, oh damn, that sucks for them, I guess. But I tried to hook him up with my supplier, and I told him like, look, you know, he doesn't have a good reputation. And he was like, I already heard about him, like I know how to handle customers like this, don't worry. I'm like, okay, like I don't want you to think that I'm sending him to scam you on purpose, but like I think he's a good guy. I think it might have just been a misunderstanding. Like whatever happened in the past, it was probably just a misunderstanding, like give him a chance or whatever. So he did give him a chance, but I don't think my friend ever ordered from my supplier. So I don't know, he was always talking about ordering and then never did order. And then I asked him, why didn't you order? He said he forgot. And so I'm like, okay, well, my supplier needs at least 8 boxes this month to make a shipment, and that's the guy I like to use. So I don't get my fish unless we find enough people to buy a box of fish, and I don't have enough money to order 8 boxes myself because I'm still just starting out. I could probably buy 1 or 2 boxes, probably 1 box, because it's like 4 or 5, 6 grand, like depending on what you get. So and that's for 2 boxes, but 1 box, yeah, depending on what you get. I try to get cheaper stuff, obviously, but so that was kind of irritating for me. And then I was talking with him about wholesaler for plants, and he's like, hey, I know a guy. And so he referred me to his guy that does wholesale in the United States. And so he gives me, I was like, tell him to send me a WhatsApp. And he's like, oh, well, he doesn't have WhatsApp. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Like all the suppliers, all the fish people do WhatsApp. Like they always are sending like PDFs over WhatsApp, their fish list, because they're international. That's what they do. They all use WhatsApp. So I was like, okay, that's weird. He was like, I'll just have him text you. And I'm like, international, it's going to cost a lot of money. He's like, no, he's in the United States. I'm like, oh, okay. So I text him, and I just said, hey, send me the fish list, and I put a little heart. You know how I do, because I'm fucking whoops, said the F word, whoops, because I'm bubbly like that. But yeah, and so he starts sending me first he sent me a long text message that he typed out, like he copied and pasted it, and it was like all the shrimp or whatever. And I'm like, okay, is that all you got? And then he starts sending screenshots of lists, and these are lists that I've seen from other suppliers. He's sending me a screenshot of an Excel spreadsheet, and I've seen these original documents from other suppliers because I've been shopping around wholesalers, and people contact me all the time like, hey, look at my fish list, please order. Like, there's a lot of like smaller wholesalers like overseas, and they'll like come into your inbox and like beg you like, please order, like I'm trying to feed my family. And like, that's their business, that's their livelihood. It's like, but I can't order from everybody. I have to choose, like I have to pick one, you know. So anyway, so I noticed that he's sending me screenshots of other people's fish lists, and I'm just like, okay, it's a little suspicious, but like I can understand, like maybe he's busy, maybe he's the middleman, he ships those in and then ships them out, and he's just forwarding me the supplier's list. And I asked him, I said, do you have an Excel spreadsheet? Because for me, I like to get into the spreadsheet, and then I can like write down like my prices that I want to charge, or like I can write on there how many I want to order for each thing. And when you're ordering 2, 3, 4,000 pieces of stuff, it's better to have an Excel spreadsheet. You can type on what you want, and working with a screenshot is just not ideal for me, because like I'm operating off a laptop, like I'm sitting at my desk doing like business deals. So he's like, no, I don't have an Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, okay, what does your name stand for? Because it's like a 3-letter acronym, and then aquatics. Like, I'm ADHD Aquatics, but ADHD stands for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Like, we all know what ADHD stands for. It's not a secret. So I asked him, I said, hey, what does your aquatics name stand for? He said nothing. It's nothing in particular. We just picked them letters or whatever. I said, oh, okay. And then I'm like, can you send some pictures of the plants? And then I didn't hear nothing from him for like a few hours or so, and my friend texts me a screenshot of them, and they're talking trash about me behind my back. Well, the wholesaler was talking trash about me behind my back, and he's like, why is she asking me for pictures of the plants? We send out so many orders a day. I don't have time to send pictures of the plants. And so I just texted them back directly, and I was like, hey, I just want a picture of like a tank of plants, or like your facility. Like, can you just show like your fish room or something, ... like something, like just so I can see your operations. And he said, oh yeah, sure. So he sent me a picture of like some concrete vats or whatever. Fish holding tanks, like stuff you see at a fish farm. I'm like, okay, sweet. Like, and then I take the picture and I try to reverse search it on Google to make sure, because the scam that people said that my friend was doing was he was pretending to like be other people that he was not actually, like saying that he was someone else, and like getting money from people. And so I was worried that this person had referred me to this make-believe company, and that it was actually him the whole time, and that he was just trying to get me to order with him. You know what I mean? Like, just trying to get me to give him $2,000 or $3,000 for fish. So I was suspicious. So I reverse searched it on Google, and like I didn't find anything. So I'm like, okay, it's a legit picture. And then I'm just like, what's your name? He told me his name, and I was like, I'm Emily, and I put like a little heart. I was like, I'm with ADHD Aquatics. And then I'm like thinking, like, I don't know anything about these people. Like, I know their name, and I have one picture of like 1/4 of their fish room, basically. And like, before, like, as a new business, you only have a little bit of money to start out with. Like, this is very important for me that I find a good supplier, like, to give my money to. And it's not just this one time. I want to build a long-lasting relationship with somebody that I can order with every month, that I don't even need to think about. Somebody that the first time we do a transaction, we're gonna have to work out all the fine details, like, what's your name? Send me some pictures. Where are you located? Like, how does this work? what are your policies, da 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 da. And then the next time I want to place an order, I can just send them a picture of the list that I want to order. I don't have to think about it. I just say like, hey, this is what I'm ordering, like when can it be here? Like that's how it is with my guy International. I've done 3 orders with him now. I know what to do each time. I just go to the air, I tell him what fish I want, he puts me in a group chat with the transshipper, I pay the transshipper, they tell me what day, they give me the tracking number, I go to the airport, I pick up the fish, I pay for the fish at the airport, I come home. It's the same thing every time. But like the first time we had to do a deal, we had to talk about this stuff. So I asked him, I said, what's your address? And he just left me on red and didn't answer. And like, cause I want to look them up on Google Maps, or I want to find them online, or anything about them at all. Like even if just another customer of theirs came to talk to me about it, and not the guy that referred me, because I didn't trust the guy that referred me to them, because he's known to be a scammer. There's screenshots of the stuff that he's done in like 10 fish groups. Like he's banned from like a lot of fish groups, and he has a very bad reputation. So I guess I don't have the best reputation either, because a lot of people were really upset when I wrote that book about the shrimp. They were like mad that I put a bunch of information in there. Like I guess it's free information you can find online, but I think they were just jealous that they didn't write a book. I don't know. A lot of books are like that. A lot of books are just a collection of free information. Some of it is from my experience too. Like it's not all just, I didn't just copy and paste it from the Wikipedia, and people were threatening to sue me because they said I copyrighted off of some websites. They were just like really mad. So, and I got into a fight with somebody about it, Bob Moss, but so my reputation isn't the best, but I'm not scamming people for thousands of dollars out here and like saying, and like lying to people saying I'm not who I am or whatever. So what he did was like really no good. So I didn't trust him. So that made that, since I didn't trust him, I didn't trust this company like automatically. So I needed to build trust with these people. They had a really good list, and I'm like, dang, I really want to do business with these people because they have a lot of plants. I want to get stuff from them, but I need to figure out if I can trust them first before I give them $4,000 to buy all these plants. So I asked him, what's your address? And they didn't answer me. So I texted my friend and I was like, hey, what's their address? And he's like, oh, well, they're in Miami. Like, you can't go pick it up. Like, only I could go pick it up. Like, they made a special deal just for me that only I was allowed to go pick it up. And I'm like, well, I might want to go visit their farm one day. Like, he's like, oh, but they're in Miami and you're in Utah. I'm like, yeah, I might visit Florida. You don't know. Like, I'm in the military. I might go there. You don't know that. And so he wouldn't give me the address. He sent me a couple pictures, and I'm like, do you have any unboxing videos of like any of the fish that you bought from them? Because like when I unbox a shipment, I film it live, or I film it and then upload it later. Every single one, I think. I've done 3 so far, I think. The big boxes, like 40-pound boxes of fish. And that's a big deal for a little store like me. I know the bigger stores, they get in like a whole pallet full of fish, and they have all their employees in there unbagging them all day long and counting the dead ones and all this other stuff. But when it's just me and I got to get a babysitter, like it's a big deal for me, so I film it. Anyway, so he sends me a couple videos, and the videos are literally just him holding a bag with fish in it, and on the bag it's written Aquatics. It doesn't say like their company name or anything, like the 3 letters that they told me, the acronym. It just says Aquatics. And I'm like, it just says Aquatics. Like, how do I know that that's from them? Like, and then he sends me pictures of them in the truck with a bunch of fish. He's like, yeah, this is when I went to the farm. This is a picture I took for them. I'm like, okay, like, this is nice. Like, I'm starting to like trust them. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's legit. So I'm like talking with them. Well, before I asked for the address, I was like talking with them about like prices and shipping and like how to move forward. And like I was totally on board with moving forward with the deal. And then my friend sends me a screenshot of a conversation between him and the supplier. And the supplier texted him and said, don't send us any more businesses that aren't an actual fish store. And I'm offended as shit. I'm like, well, I might not be like a separate commercial building, but I am a real fish store. My property is commercial. commercial and residential, and the fish store takes up the entire basement, and that's 50% of my property. My property is split up. It was 2 apartments when I bought it. The bottom has a separate entrance, separate laundry, separate bathroom, and 2 bedrooms, a living room, and a kitchen. And the top is the same way, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a living room, and a kitchen, and it's both 1,100 square feet. The whole basement, the whole 1,100 square feet, is the fish store, and it has a separate entrance, and I have signage and everything, and it's listed on Google Maps and everything. I have my business license, I have my LLC. The only thing that's missing is that, like, it's still attached to my house. But there's a lot of businesses down on 25th Street, like there's a coffee place called Cafe Mercantile, and cafe is spelled with a K, and it's a coffee shop up front, and then the house is in the back, so it's like a residential commercial split, and it's totally fine. It doesn't mean the coffee shop is any less legitimate. So anyway, that kind of pissed me off, and so I texted these wholesaler aquatics people that wouldn't tell me what their name meant or their location or send me any pictures of plants, and said, look, I'm going to be totally honest with you. When this is not the way to treat a new customer. You're being kind of immature and unprofessional. You're talking bad about me behind my back to the person that referred me to you. And I'll be honest with you, I don't trust the person that referred me to you, so I was just trying to build some trust with you and make a deal and figure out if I could trust you, and you just completely bombed it. Like, you could have had my business for the next several years, $10,000-$20,000 a month, fish orders, fish and plants, because who knows, like, if I could switch to a supplier in the US and save a lot on shipping. I don't have to ship in all the way from Taiwan, but I love my guy in Taiwan. But when you're making business deals, you have to weigh that, like, do I want to pay an extra $500 in shipping every month, or do I want to go with someone in the United States? So I was considering that, and, like, not after the way they treated me. Like, I don't like that they were talking bad about me behind my back. Like, why is she sending photos? She's not a real fish store. Like, okay, like, or why is she asking for photos? Okay, like, I'm a little new, yes, but I was not disrespectful to anybody. I just was trying to do my due diligence, and so I just wanted to let you guys know, anyone that wants to start, I get a lot of people come in my fish store and they're like, hey, I want to start breeding these crawfish. I want to start breeding these red boa, I don't know, the caridina shrimp, the real fancy ones. They're like $35 each wholesale. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna get like 20 of these. I'm gonna start breeding them, and I'm gonna go into business too. And I'm like, all right, like, that's not how it works. I'll support you. I'm here 100%. But you need to know that this is very hard, okay? And it's not just trying to find a supplier. It's not just trying to make one deal. It's all of it together. And Corey from Aquarium Co-op talks about this a lot. Like, don't try to do or something that's very, very, very expensive, thinking, oh, I'm going to sell this fish for $75 each. Yeah, and when your customer takes it home and kills it, are you going to replace it too for free? It's hard. When that lady killed that $40 fish, that hurt my heart. I was like, oh, god damn, I should probably replace that, but that's a hard one. So I just want to say, a lot of times, I gotta take this exit. You can't breed the fish fast. If you get good and you get a customer base, you cannot breed the fish fast enough to sell. You are gonna have to import. What sets people apart, like Flip Aquatics, for example, love him. He's great. I watched all his videos. His whole thing is he quarantines his shrimp and treats them, and he tracks them and counts how many dies each day. If you watch his videos, he has the numbers on the tank. Like, it's just a fact of life. When you order the shrimp in, some of them are gonna die. There's a couple of dead shrimp in my tank right now because I just had a shipment of shrimp in a couple days ago. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad fish store. It happens. There's a certain, in the industry, there's a certain percentage of DOA that is accepted, and good wholesalers will include a 10 to 15% extra in there when you're buying. Just like when I ship out shrimp, let's say you order a 4-pack, I send you 6 to 8. So we call it like a 4+2. And that's 4+2 DOA. So that's like, just in case somebody dies, you already have some in the bag extra to make up for it. And if not, shrimp usually don't die. And if not, then you have extra shrimp. But these are just like standard industry practices, and these things are more difficult than people think, because these things eat into your bottom line. Like I traded some angelfish for a couple swordtails yesterday. I have to write the angelfish off on my taxes as an expense because they didn't give me enough swordtails to equal the amount of value of angelfish I gave. So all of these things have to go into consideration. So I had a guy recently come, and he's like, hey, I got a bunch of these crawfish. I want to sell them to you and you resell them. I'm like, okay, I'll give you 50 cents each. He's like, no, these are, and I'm like, this is over text message. I'm reading it like this in my head, you know, like he probably didn't say it like this when he was texting it, but he's like, no, these are, you can sell these for $15 each. And so how are you only going to give me 50 cents? Okay, let me explain this. Those crawfish are not going to sell for $15 each in my fish room. I do not have enough of an online presence to move. What? I can't go left here. I don't have enough of an online presence to move 200 crawfish in a reasonable amount of time. So I know that I can't sell them for $15 each. Sorry, my car is like talking to me. No, exit that out. So I know I can't sell them for $15 each. I gotta sell them for $5 each to incentivize people actually buying them, because they cannot be housed with fish. They cannot be housed with plants. They dig up all of your sand and dirt and all that stuff. They make a mess of the tank. People don't like that. Some people like it. Some people don't mind. Some people like to keep them with fish. I'm sure I'll get some comments, people saying, you can keep crawfish with fish. That's fine. Keep your crawfish with your fish. But when I sell a crawfish, to a little girl with a tank of guppies, and she's crying because she just watched a crawfish eat a guppy, and her mom calls me and she's like, hey, you didn't tell me that these crawfish were gonna eat the fish. I can't have that. I have to be honest with my customers. I have to say, look, you can decide to keep this with the fish if you want, but I need to let you know that once this crawfish gets bigger, they might eat the fish. If they can catch the fish, they'll eat the fish. They're predators. And I'll let you know, you shouldn't really keep multiple crawfish together, because they will attack each other too. They'll rip each other's claws off and rip each other's legs off, and they really should be kept separate. So when someone brings me 150 to 200 crawfish, I already know I need to keep separate. So I need, I don't know, maybe a better rack that has 100 spots that are divided, and I need to feed each one of those little spaces individually. And I'm gonna have to hold on to them for like 6 months before I sell the last one, before I can use that space for bettas or for anything else, axolotls. I got an axolotl guy that wants to move into the betta rack. So when someone comes to me and they're like, I want $5 each for 200 crawfish, I'm like, look, I can't do that. First of all, if I keep them all in one tank, half of them will be dead by the end of the night. Because as a fish store, I can't feed the way like a customer would feed their fish. The customers feed their fish like 2 or 3 times a day. Like it's crazy. Or once a day. But like I feed every other day. I keep the fish alive, okay? They're not skinny, but they're not getting fat, and I'm not fouling up my water, because it costs money to do the water changes. And I have it set on a schedule to do like a 30 or 40% water change every other day. So I feed every other day. These are just things that you have to do as a fish store owner, because if I just ran my fish store the way and just did 100% water changes every day, the water bill would be like $700 a month. And right now the water bill is like $400. So I am still spending some water, but like I don't even know what is $5 times 200. That's like a lot of freaking money. I can't spend that much money on crawfish. So I offered him 50 cents. He seemed really, really hesitant. but he was still really wanted to do this because he was like, look, this is a side business that me and my son started. It's important to me. Like, I really want to do this. So when he showed up, I gave him $200. So I think that was, what did I give him? I think that was more than 50 cents each. I don't know. I gave him more. I don't think it was $2. I think it was $2 each, not $5. But, so, something like that. 75 cents each. I don't know. I'm really, really bad at math. Someone will have to do the math in the comments. But I gave him like 200 or $250, and he brought me 150 crawfish. And then half of them were dead that first night because my betta rack isn't finished, and it doesn't have, it has dividers, but there's a spot where I'm supposed to put a sponge or like a mesh, and that part wasn't there, and I didn't think the crawfish would get over it, and so like 5 crawfish ended up in one spot. And some of them killed each other. I'll be honest with you, they just straight up killed each other. And then I was feeding them every day. And he was like, you gotta feed them or else they attack each other. And I was, but they were still attacking each other. Probably because the move was really stressful. I don't know. So I told him, I was like, look, I kind of told you that this was going to happen. I lost money on this deal, but I want to support you. I want you as my crawfish breeder. But you have to accept that they are only 50 cents to $1 each. I cannot give you $5 each. And all the wholesale prices that I see are like that. Like certain fish, they're only 20 cents each. Some fish are only 10 cents each. And then you pay shipping, some of them die, and that's why you have the retail markup. And that's why you pay $4.99 for a fish that only cost wholesale 30 cents. But the fish store, the fish owner still is not making a lot of money off that fish because they have to pay water, electricity, food, time. Some fish stores have employees. So to be honest with you, fish stores are not making money off of the livestock. They're making money off the food, the equipment. They're making money off the filters. They're making money off the shirts. And when I did all this research the last like 5 to 10 years, I started watching FishTube in 2015. Every day religiously. 50 hours a week of YouTube. Straight up. I have screenshots. 50 hours a week of FishTube. It was all fish stuff, fish tanks, and that's all I did. I have been calculating these risks in my head for years and years, and now I'm finally pulling the trigger. And I have a little bit of business sense because I've been in the military. I'm a little bit professional because I've been in the military. I'm not the best, and I'm not the smartest. I don't know everything. I'm still a little naive. I'm not so good at making social connections, but I want people to understand that trying to sell fish for profit is not what it seems. Even Zach was kind of had the, I don't know what you call it, optimism bias. He's like, yeah, we could just get these angelfish and we're getting 40 of them, or we're getting 100 of them for $40. We'll sell them for 15. It'll be all good. And I'm like, yeah, but people they're gonna tell them it's $15. They're coming to our house, they're looking for a deal, they're not gonna want to pay $15. So I priced my angelfish at $5. I move them relatively quickly. I'm still sitting on, I had 100, someone brought me 100 for free. I'm still sitting on about like 50 or 40 of them. It's been months and months. So you have to calculate how much water changes you've done, how much food you've done. And then occasionally they just die. Like you just go down there and there's like 1 or 2 dead in the tank. And like there's nothing you can do about it. They're not sick. Like they just die. Like that's just how the fish are. Like ornamental fish are so inbred, the genetics, it's just how it is. So you're going to have some just die randomly for no reason. Even established tanks, no parasites, no nothing, not overfeeding, like nothing crazy. And so you have to factor that into your costs. And so when I see Zach get excited, he's like, yeah, we'll just buy the fish for this and sell it for that. Boom, easy money. And it's not like other businesses. There's more variables, there's more losses. And Corey from Aquarium Co-op has touched on this multiple times. And he thinks about it in a similar way that I do. And I learned a lot from him, and I adopted a lot of his mindset. And as unfortunate as it is, you have to kind of think of it more business and logical like. And I know people get excited because they love breeding fish, but really the only way to be profitable at just the livestock is having a farm. You need thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of gallons And you see them on YouTube, farms for miles and miles, as far as the eye can see, fish farms, huge vats. You can't even see in the tanks. You have to go over to the vat and look inside. Those are the people that are making money, and they're making like about 2 or 3 cents a fish. They're not making $1 or $2 per fish. So if you want to get into breeding fish, crawfish, shrimp, whatever, my advice is do what Corey from Aquarium Co-op says. He says put multiple revenue streams in one tank. Snails, guppies, shrimp. Boom, one tank. You need a lot of hiding spaces because the guppies will eat the baby shrimp. I wouldn't recommend it that way. I would do snails and shrimp in one tank. You could do 2 types of shrimp in one tank. You could do tiger shrimp and neocaridina shrimp. That's easy money. Not easy, but easier money, because the shrimp, if you get them going, they are very prolific. And then you can sell them for $3 to $4 each. I do bundle deals. I do 5 for $18 when they're not on sale. Sometimes I do 5 for $15. And then just recently I did 5 for $13.50. So you do deals or whatever on them, but you tell people like, oh, they're $5 each, and then you say, oh, but I bundle them for this, and then it gets them to buy the deal, the bundle. Or you do guppies or something. So guppies are kind of saturated, but a lot of, if you can breed neon tetras and celestial pearl danios, those are the 2 that people have really wanted from me recently. So that's my advice, is something small that can fit in anybody's tank. I live in Utah. A lot of people do cichlids, so I can't sell a lot of my fish to the cichlid people. But a lot of people are just parents that want to set something up for the kids. They want something easy and quick. They want something small that sits on a dresser or on a nightstand or something. Focus on fish that everyone can buy. Focus on a fish that if someone didn't have a fish tank, you could convince them to get that fish. Like, hey, look, it's only going to cost you $100 to set up this small tank. You don't even need a filter, just an air stone. Boom, you got a shrimp tank in your kid's room, and you only got to do water changes every once in a while, whatever. You want to not niche down so much that you eliminate your market. You don't want to be like, I'm a discus breeder, I only sell $200 fish, that's it, and I'm going to spend a majority of my time doing this and only get like 1 or 2 customers a month, and they're only going to buy 3 or 4 fish. It's just a bad return on investment. So do that if that's your passion, but you need to understand, like, my electric bill is $400, and I don't even heat each tank. I heat the room with a gas furnace, a water system, a baseboard heaters. And my water bill is $300 each month. What else? My gas bill is $100. It used to be only $20. And then I pay $40 for my website. I pay $10 a month for Canva. I pay $40 a month for Adobe Illustrator to do all my logos and stuff. I pay so much stuff, like, each month, my overhead, even just doing it at home. There's paper, there's ink, there's stickers. I just ordered a roll of 200 stickers. ADHD Aquatics stickers. If you want me to mail you some, email me your address, adhdaquatics@gmail.com. There's just so much overhead expenses that you're not going to be breeding fish for profit with anything less than 1,000 gallons in multiple tanks. So really consider that before you get into it. And if you think, I'll build a fish room just like ADHD Aquatics, or I'll build a fish store just like Keeping Fish Simple, or whatever it is, I'll just do that, and then I'll import. It's still not that easy. So that's why I told the story about that bad business deal. Like, my friend that I didn't really trust but kind of trusted, he referred me to someone. They were immature, completely blew the deal. The point of me bringing that up is to show, like, I wasted like 2 or 3 days of my time on that. And like, with a 14-month-old, I'm at the daycare now, and a full-time job, still in the military, and looking for another job, that was a huge waste of time for me. Like, that legitimately hurts my heart. Like, I spent probably 14 plus hours working on that deal just to find out it was going to be a flop, a dead fish in the water. So you need to factor in stuff like that. My return on investment for that conversation, 0. So it's not as easy as you think. It's not as simple as, oh, I'll just ship in some fish. Like, I don't have the funding to completely quit my job and do this full time. So I just want you guys to know that I am working very hard on ADHD Aquatics, And I'm working very hard to be honorable. I want to quarantine my fish. I want to quarantine my shrimp. When people, I offer 24/7 support. You guys don't know this. On my Google Maps, it says 24/7. People call me at like 9 o'clock at night. They're like, "Are you really 24/7?" I'm like, "Yes." I like to set appointments to come visit the fish room like before 8:30 p.m. and then after I get work. So between like 4:30 and 8:30, I like to set appointments for you to come in. But if you are having a fish emergency at 2 in the morning, you call me. I will help you. If you're like, my goldfish jumped out of the tank. I'm thinking arowana. My arowana jumped out of the tank. What do I do? Like, okay, like, I'll give you instructions. Like, put it back in the tank. Maybe you want to do a water change, add some salt, whatever. Like, whatever it is, I offer 24/7 support. And so that's what sets me apart. Also, I'm the only freshwater fish store in Ogden. If you look on the map, there's like there's one in Bountiful, one in, and they do salt too. I gotta start doing salt, but that's for another video. There's like 3 or 4 pet shops that aren't PetSmart or Petco, big shops. There's Rusty's Reefs, there's Pets and Such, there's Mark's Ark, there's the Wet Spot, the Waterfront. No, the Wet Spot's not in Utah. The Waterfront, that's where Scheller used to put his fish. He'd breed fish and bring them to the waterfront for sale. I don't know if he still does. Angelfish and stuff. There's a couple, but they're all south of me, at least 30 minutes from me. So people coming into town from Wyoming and Idaho, they stop at my store. That's what makes me special, is I'm going to be hopefully the only pet store in Ogden, South Ogden. And I'm really excited for that in Utah. But I just want everyone to know that my videos might not be the best, and sometimes you might see me arguing online, but being a business owner is very stressful, and the military has definitely impacted my mental health, and I'm still working on it. And sometimes I might pop off at the mouth and say things I shouldn't say, and I'm working on just trying to ignore negative comments, but I get very combative and defensive because this is something I care about so much. Like when he said that I wasn't a real fish store, I wanted to just choke somebody, bro. Like, oh my gosh. Like, that makes me so mad because and the reason why it makes me so mad is because it is a little bit true, and that's hard to accept. So it is a little bit true. I'm not a real fish store in comparison in other senses. Like on paper, I operate like a real fish store. I pay my quarterly sales tax. I have a website. I have social media. I have a punch card. Oh, I gotta show you guys the punch cards. So you get 5 punches, you get 20% off, and then 5 more punches, you get a free fish food, and then 5 more punches, you get buy one get one free fish, limit 5. So we got 3 tiers of punch cards now. So like I operate everything and treat it all like a very real business. This is a very real business to me. This is not a side business to me anymore. Now that the Air Force is like gone, this is like my #1 thing right now. And when I get my next job, that money from that job is basically going to be fueling ADHD Aquatics. So I just want everyone to know that I am trying to show integrity and do this correctly and have good, clean, healthy fish. I don't know how long it'll take me to get to Corey from Aquarium Co-op level to where I'm going to China and testing products and stuff. But he is a role model for me, and I am aiming to be like him, but I want to offer something different. I want to be special. I don't want to be his competitor, but I do look up to him. So I look up to him, and I model after him a lot in my goals, but I do have different values and different ideas than him. So I want to go somewhere else than where he went. He's focusing on like product quality for like the fish feeder and the lights and stuff. I don't know if I'll ever develop my own light or develop my own fish feeder, but I'm on that track. I want to have a big warehouse like him and have like the systems down pat, and like how he has like the whole warehouse and the conveyor belts and all that crazy stuff. I want to be like that. I want to be reliable and trustworthy for everyone. And when ADHD Aquatics moves out of the basement, it's not going to be just a fish store. I'm thinking of calling it, I don't want to tell you the name, you're going to steal it. No. I'm thinking of, Zach had a name idea. He wanted to call it Pets and Wets. But the testing I did, Pets and Wets did not win. So but we're going to be calling it more of like a generic pet store name, not just ADHD Aquatics. And then inside the pet store, there will be a section for fish, and that section will be called ADHD Aquatics. So ADHD Aquatics will live on, and I hope I can watch this video back 5 years from now and be like, wow, I was so new and so naive and so young and just so stupid. And I hope that when I look back on this video, I would have been able to identify some key points and lessons that I learned from this moment in time, and I want to document it for anyone else that is aspiring to be a fish store or breeding fish for profit, whatever you want to do. Because when I started looking up stuff like this in 2015, there was no one really on YouTube. There was Dustin's Fish Tanks, and there was Corey from Aquarium Co-op, and Corey had his cinder block shelves in his first store, I think. So, and Dustin was just operating out of his house, I think. I don't even think that King of DIY had a gallery yet, or maybe he did from the beginning, but he was still starting out. No, he didn't. He was just doing the tank builds. I was just watching him build tanks and filters and stuff. I don't think he had the gallery. He was still yeah, those old videos are just, yeah. So I want this video to be like that, so that someone finds this one day and it starts their journey and they have a realistic view of how things go. Now, if anyone has any questions about shipping in fish from international, how a transshipper works, customs, licensing, all that stuff, if you have any questions, like you want to know like behind the scenes of how a business like this works, you can email me. I'm not keeping anything a secret. I'm obviously not going to put it on public like this, but like if you ask me like, hey, I want to order fish like wholesale, how do I do that? I will tell you. I'm not going to keep it a secret, because some people will probably be mad at me like, oh, she's devaluing like the value of the fish or whatever. Like the thing is, I could even put the instructions on how to order wholesale fish online. Only like 0.05% of people would actually take action and do that. It would not impact the pet trade at all. So it's not like it would be taking business away. Not like your average family is not going to be placing a $3,000 fish order and going to the airport and picking it up just because they want to get like a guppy for a couple cents. So I don't have any problem sharing that information with people, what I've learned so far. Just email me, adhdaquatics@gmail.com. And be on the lookout for the fish food coming. And the punch cards are for my online customers too. So what I'll do is I'll just punch the card and put your name on it and like hold it in I'll just hold it at my facility here, and then whenever you place the order, I'll punch it again, and then it'll be automatic. I'll like automatically give you the discount or whatever. Like, hey, this is your sixth order, you get the 20% off or whatever. So and you guys can text me too. Whatever, message me on the website. I like text messages most, but yeah, subscribe to the emails. So go to adhdaquatics.com, and there's like a contact form, and it's like you type in your email, scroll to the bottom, type in your email. I just bought a software. Oh, that's a new thing I wanted to tell when I was doing the updates. I just paid for a software. It's $100 a month, you guys. Oh my gosh. But what it does is it saves all my customers' first and last names and sends emails automatically. So I can spend one day and like type all my emails and type on my Facebook post and then schedule it, and it's like boom, automatic. So like that just takes off so much time. Like how much time I'm spending doing that stuff is like saved from that. So yeah, that's another big thing. I don't know what else is another big thing. I feel like I'm forgetting. There's been so many updates lately. But I just want to let you guys know it's not all butterflies and rainbows, and I am still out here working to become a good fish store for you guys. And I do still feel like I'm part of the fish fam. I'm not as social as I used to be, because I'm still working on myself, and I regret that. And I look forward to making another video for you guys, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, you guys. I gotta get out of here. How do I get out of here?